So that makes me think that there isn't a lot of overwhelming support to consolidate the city. But I think that it's something that if there was a group of folks that wanted to talk about it, I would certainly be in support of that. And if it's cost effective and makes sense for the entire community, and we are a very diverse community, so it seems like really something insurmountable. But on the very surface, I think it's a good idea. Thanks.
I don't need the microphone. I've often been told I'm loud enough you can hear me a couple blocks away. I believe in the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. And that is, a single government would be great. But in this case, consolidation isn't something that people want or something we can afford. That's the big question, and that's what's going to keep people away from it. You have people within the city paying 20 mils for services, fire department, police department, public works. You have people in the borough paying 19 and 20 mils for a volunteer fire department, a garbage service that they take they take it to a local dump, and the police protection they have is the state troopers. And that's another issue. If we decided to consolidate, do we have to provide police protection for those areas within the borough? It'd be nice if we could get the state to do it, but the state's trying to unload more of their responsibility for maintaining the law on us locally. So, major issues. If it would save us money, I'm for it. If it would simplify things and make it easier for the community, I'm for it. But I don't see those things, and it has been rejected twice.
I'd like to make another clarification on that. If we consolidated, my proposal was to turn this city into a service area. The infrastructure would stay here, the police, fire, and public works. We have over $100 million in our permit fund. That would stay in the service area. It would be up to the service area whether we want to spend that money or not. It would take a super majority. Thank you.
Thanks, candidates.
We had also invited city council candidates. Are the city council candidates are in another room? Well, let's go ahead with further questions then. Karen Barr.
My question is for Vivian Stiver. Vivian, I was very impressed when you formed that citizens committee to look into the expenses of the city, and I'd like to know how that all came out.
Okay, yes, when we had in the fall, when everything got cut, to answer the question that kept coming from the citizens was, how are we spending our money? Shouldn't we cut? Aren't we spending it? Are we overspending? Right now, I chair the fire committee, and we are still working on that. It's intensely, it's complicated because services are tiered. So you have to look at what is the standard of service people are willing to pay for also as an aspect. You can change certain things, but they change other things. So it's very complicated. We're very diligent about really looking at it hard. The other committees, I know Jerry Cleveland was running all other departments, and Jeff Johnson, we're heading that up. They're just about ready to wrap up with theirs. Chad Roberts has completed his public works, and they should be presenting. And then the police is being headed by Lloyd Hilling. And it's a good process. And initially, if you remember, I had suggested that we look at this like for a year, because truly it's way more complicated than to just walk in and spend a few meetings to actually look at this. And it really does take a lot of time, and it's gone really well. And we've had people in the citizenry come in and work with us, and I applaud them for stepping forward and coming in and filling this gap. And I look forward to having our reports hopefully ready in November from the fire department. And it's gone really well. Thank you.
Other questions? Sorry.
What do you think of the Vision Fairbanks? Is it adequate? Too much? How will we finance it? In other words, what do you think of it?
I don't mind stepping forward. I went to the unveiling of the Vision of Fairbanks. I think it's going to be very expensive. We're going to have some dedicated people to put that together. But the real sad scenario I see is I've been here in 20 years, and we have gutted the historic heritage in the buildings of Fairbanks, and that's what I see we gotta look at the vision. Thank you.
Yes, I've attended some of those meetings. I've talked to the people who are in charge of it. I noticed some of it has kind of jumped into the public process and the FMATs and the things kind of late in the day, and it's caused some difficulties with the Illinois Barnett project, and that seems to be moving along. It's a very ambitious project. There's some really great elements of it. The Performing Arts Center is one that I think needs to be developed here. The financing part of it seems to be extremely lacking. I haven't seen any specific methodology proposed that all this can be funded. I'm sure that there are some ways of syndicating or aggregating capital to do it, but I'm not sure that they have the structure in the organization that's proposing it to do the job.
I guess we do have a lineup. Okay. Vision Fairbanks, I applaud their enthusiasm. I applaud the process. It's very public. It's been well attended. I think I missed a public meeting once. I am on one of the other committees that I go to and listen also. Currently, we are mapping our city. We have an overlay on an aerial shot so that we do know what is in all the lots downtown, so we are familiar with what is here currently. You're looking at financing. There's a program called TIF, and I don't know what that acronym means. The way it functions is you would invest in a project, and I believe, for example, and I hope I get this right, they're talking about like a town square. Okay, they're talking about town square. What they're saying is if there's an investment by the community, okay, now we're not talking the private dollars, we're talking about community dollars, to bring this beautiful square into place. The values of property around that square should have a greater value. I see a greater value. So when you add to that area, it's kind of like an overlay. When you add to that area a project that adds value, you take that incremental tax increase on the properties and you use that to pay off that project. So what they're saying is, it's all new to me. I mean, I've been paying real close attention. But what they're saying is with these improvements that can be made, investors are going to come in. The private sectors will come in. The value around what we're doing as a city that we go through this TIF program with will raise property values. Therefore, the additional money that comes in because of this improvement can therefore be a rolling catalyst into the improvement itself. This really is not, the main thing about Vision Fairbanks is we must be vigilant and steadfast in taking care of the health of our finances at the city. End of story. No one's going to come here and put their dollar in here if we're not good financially, and right now we are doing a good job. And we need to know that. I've heard it at the borough a couple of times, well, we want to save the city. You don't need to save us. We're doing just fine. We're responding to our community, and we're paying attention and watching our dollars. I think it's a wonderful process. It's been, the people on this are very enthusiastic, and we need to see where it goes and make sure when the neighborhoods come in to have their approvals on the different parts of this plan, that we listen to everyone and that we come to a mutual agreement. And the way we can aid this project is by providing a nice, stable tax base and taking care of our community and keeping it nice, and look at alternative ways to help encourage growth, but it's basically based on private investors, and we need to keep the government climate friendly so investors will bring their dollars to us. See what
We're not done yet.
I'm sorry. That's okay.
I think the Vision Fairbanks is a wonderful idea. I've worked on lots of visioning sessions, and as you know, a vision is a big idea, and I think it's a very big idea. And it's really easy to, especially in our community, to focus on the negative of Vision Fairbanks, because there are houses in the downtown area that may not be there anymore, and they're looking at a lot of big things, but again, it's a big vision. I agree with Vivian. We certainly need to make sure that we have the tools in place as a city to make sure it works. I certainly don't want to see us taking away something that we invested in, like the transportation